We're pleased you are here and we want to thank you for watching our videos. Did you know that we donate all the money we earn from YouTube to charities operating in Cambodia? Even better, did you know you are helping us earn this money just by watching our videos? In the description of our videos, you can see how much we've earned from YouTube and where the money is going. Today we have a ride generously provided by our friends Ryan and Sarah over at Itchy Feet on the Cheap. I know you guys watch their channel, so this will be a real treat. They went down to Kampot recently, and this ride is from Kampot to La Plantation, which is one of the most well-known pepper plantations in the Kampot region. I hope you enjoy it. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of April, 2022. Well, it's been a long time, but masks are finally off in the kingdom. You might recall that Prime Minister Hun Sen said that he would wait for 10 days after the Khmer New Year celebrations ended to make sure that there wasn't a huge outbreak. It seems he is happy with the situation because he has announced that in public places that are open and well ventilated, people can make their own decisions about whether or not to wear a mask. Masks will still be required in closed or air-conditioned spaces. I don't think most people in Cambodia mind wearing a mask, and this announcement seems largely symbolic. It's a visual, tangible flag that the kingdom is firmly across the line and into the new normalcy. As we mentioned last week, the quarantine period for unvaccinated travellers has been reduced from 14 to 7 days. These two things, together with the recent confidence in allowing the public to celebrate Khmer New Year, seem to send a loud message that the kingdom is open for business and ready to accept COVID as a normal part of life. Over to the neighbours on the west, Thailand has announced that there will be no COVID tests on arrival for vaccinated travellers from the 1st of May. We just need those land borders to open. The test and go process for foreign arrivals will be terminated at the end of the month, and vaccinated travellers will require only self-administered antigen tests. Many countries are relaxing restrictions significantly, and our country depends considerably on tourism to support the economy, Thailand's Prime Minister said. Unfortunately, they're still sticking with the Thailand Pass registration system despite pleas from those in the tourism industry to scrap it. Still in the region, but a little bit further afield, Hong Kong is set to follow others in reopening entry to non-residents. COVID flight suspension rules will ease from May. The COVID-19 flight suspension mechanism, which sees a 7-day route ban when 3 passengers test positive for the virus on arrival in the city, will also be adjusted from May, and the ban will be shortened to 5 days. The flight suspension mechanism has been triggered 25 times since the 1st of April. Imagine that, it must feel like complete chaos there. Last week, we reported that Cambodia's vaccination rates were nudging 93%, and since then, this milestone has been reached. It seems that people took the time to get vaccinated over the break, and the vaccination strategy has been changed slightly to bring the vaccines as close as possible to the villages. This is a great move that has allowed many more people to access a vaccine because they don't have to travel to a vaccination centre. You might remember last week's story about a man who was attacked by crocodiles after slipping into their pond after a late-night leak. Sad news today is that he didn't make it. He was taken from Siem Reap to Phnom Penh to receive treatment at the Carmet Hospital. He was being transported back to Siem Reap following the treatment when he died en route at Kampong Tom. An urgent warning has been issued after banned coconut jelly has been found to contain chemicals harmful to life. The Vietnamese brand of jelly can cause serious diseases and is especially harmful to children. Officials in Kandal province discovered 39 cases of the bad jelly. It had already been banned in Cambodia, but it was illegally smuggled from Vietnam. The cash register receipts have been tallied, and we can now tell you that over $200 million was spent in Cambodia over the Khmer New Year period. Around 5.17 million tourists accounted for the spend, and that's an average of about $38 for every person who travelled. Pretty amazing. The Minister of Tourism said that the provinces with the highest spending were Kampong Cham with $54 million, Sihanoukville with $48 million, Battambang with $31 million, and Siem Reap with $30 million. It wasn't all beer and fun though. A shortage of hotel rooms amid the massive influx of tourists into popular Cambodian destinations during the holiday has led to a rise in the number of hotel scam cases that saw many people ending up without a room for the holiday, and worse, losing the funds used for the prepaid rooms. Some guests who prepaid through sites like Agoda turned up to find that the hotel wasn't even operating anymore. When these people tried to contact Agoda, they couldn't get through and have not had a response. So now they don't know who has their money, whether it's Agoda or the people that were running the hotel. A drunken swimming escapade has ended in death for one man. According to villagers, before the incident, the man was seen drinking with his friends. When the man was drunk, he wanted to swim in a pond. Other people said he later went to swim in the pond together with a woman he was drinking with. The two suddenly started drowning, causing people there to panic and intervene to save them. The villagers were able to save the woman, but not the man. Despite the current differences between their two countries, two Russians and a Ukrainian were united yesterday in receiving long jail sentences for drug smuggling in Cambodia. The two Russian men were both sentenced to 30 years imprisonment, and the Ukrainian woman received 25 years. She is only 21. All were convicted for illegal production, transportation and trafficking of drugs in Phnom Penh from 2017 until September 2020. The sentenced had been sending drugs via DHL couriers to England and Greece. Still in the seedy world of drugs, a Phnom Penh man was arrested yesterday after he posted a drug-fueled rant against local police on Facebook, including stating that they were drug lords. This is what he said. "Please help me, Rusikeo District Police Inspector made money. I drugged my wife and sold my wife outside. They arrested my wife and they put GPS to track me. The villagers also raped my wife, but they said it was solved, but he did not give me any money. They shared all the money and the police were near my house. They were drug lords, they smoked drugs, and they put GPS to sell you drugs. And they want you to cheat people. They do not let me tell them and tell my family, so now they cheat me. I have appeared and took a picture of the Rusikeo police station with the words above. The police chief drugged and smoked drugs to eat my money. Put the GPS for the villagers to see me again." I think something's lost in the translation with that, but anyway, I think you get the gist. Immediately after the message was posted, the expert police team started tracking down the man, and in a very short time he was located. After questioning him, the forces tested him for narcotics and, unsurprisingly, found a positive result. In other news of people doing things they shouldn't, a giant Hummer SUV driven by a, surprise, surprise, foreign national, decided to test its off-road capabilities in the early hours of Sunday morning. Sources from the scene said that before the incident, a foreign man was seen driving a white Hummer along Route 289 in the direction from south to north at a high speed. He lost control, smashed into a lamppost, and rapidly fled the scene. That same night, witnesses saw a man driving a white Range Rover along Mao Zedong Road in the direction from south to north at high speed. He lost control and smashed into a road divider. He was about to flee the scene, but was detained by local traffic police who happened to be at the scene on an unconnected matter. Bad luck. I hope you get a buzz out of this next story. A man has died after using a mains electricity cable to electrocute fish. He was seen walking to his backyard pond with a power line for the purpose of electrocuting fish for his meal. 10 minutes later, villagers heard a bang and a cry, but when they got to the pond, the man was dead. Reminds me of a time Jeremy and I were in a little outpost of Myanmar and we saw a man using a contraption to electrocute fish by a car battery strapped to his back. He was wading through the water. I think he was up to about his waist, and he had his children with him as well. Today we have a nature-related good news story to wind up the news. Conservationists celebrate the discovery of a green turtle nest. It's the first time in more than a decade that a nest has been found on this particular remote island. Great news indeed. That brings us to the end of this week's news. You're now up to date with all of the most important events in the kingdom and some that are not so important as well. Thank you for watching. As always, links to the stories mentioned will be in the pinned comment, and we'd like to thank Itchy Feet on the Cheap again for this wonderful ride. It's actually the first section of a longer ride, so you'll see more of this next time as well. Take care, have a great week, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.